So I says to her,
we're now live.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to Why We Bust, the podcast where we take a deep dive into the Ghostbusters fandom, one proton pack journey at a time. I'm your host, Matt Goldenboat, and today we've got something special for you. Not just one guest, but two. That's right, we're talking to two brothers who share a love for busting and giving back. Paul and Ian Duncan are dedicated members of the Windy City Ghostbusters, a franchise that not only celebrates Ghostbusters, but also does incredible charity work. We'll be talking about their early Ghostbuster memories, how they got involved with their team, and the impact they're making through their charitable efforts. So grab your PKE meters and settle in. It's time to find out why we bust. Paul and Ian, welcome to the show. And as always, we have our magical James Norman with us as well.
I'm
magic.
Hi, everybody.
Magical. All right, so we're gonna go back in the Wayback Machine here. We're gonna take a little deep dive into, where you guys started out with your love of Ghostbusters, and we'll take the journey together here. So, what's your earliest memory of Ghostbusters? Was it movies, cartoons, toys? What was your first memory?
For me, well, everyone got their copy, their VHS copies. That was it for me. And then the cartoon came out, and it's like, oh, I gotta have every one of those toys.
I've got very vivid memories of watching him unwrap the cartoon versus the action figures and being extremely jealous of those. But that's next year. I got like the Play-Doh Ecto 1 set that had the mold that can make all the traps and the
with the glow-in-the-dark Play-Doh.
Oh, yes. I'm sure I have some manner of disease from that. That's got to be toxic in some way.
Yeah, that didn't last very long, and I got mixed with things rather quickly.
Eventually, you just had brown.
It was great.
Yes, your Ecto and your everything turns just to brown. Now, Ian, you said you're jealous of the toys that Paul had?
Not necessarily jealous, but I just realized that this was something very special and very cool. It's like his
gotcha.
to it, and just how neat and unique everything was. And then later on, as Paul has said before, our parents had this crazy notion that we would play together if they got us similar toys.
There's a bit of a gap between us,
Right.
They got me like the trap and the goggles with like that cheap little popper blaster, not the full blaster, but like the squeeze foam blaster.
Sure.
You had the goggles and the trap. I had the proton pack and the projector one that looked like a giant, whatever that thing is that you project on the wall.
Yep.
Mom hated both of those.
That was the Ghost Zapper, which is I've got one. I still haven't taken that out yet, so maybe one day I'll bring that to an event and we'll sit down and reminisce, find a dark room, and just start throwing up projections on the wall. Now, Paul, since you're a little bit older, do you remember the first time you saw the 84 movie?
Probably it was at home. Dad probably got a copy. There's, my parents like SNL and Second City and all that. So it's like I learned the comedy, the actors from watching that stuff. So it's like, yeah, that's the Ghostbuster movie. That's the one Ooh, I like that one.
Right. Now, I remember they took me to the drive-in to go see it. So I don't know if you had like theater memory or if it was just it was a VHS.
No, I forget what we had on that because we had Tron, Short Circuit, War Games, and all the good sci-fi stuff that with all the nerds.
The classics. I don't think Short Circuit gets enough love, but
I bring Johnny over, but he's over there right now.
No, I've seen it. So Ian, what was your first memory of seeing the 84 film?
I do. I believe the first core memory I have of Ghostbusters is of the animated series, and going back on it, some of those monsters are a lot scarier than I remember. There's some really excellent designs on the creatures in that one. Then through that, I watched the original film, but I do recall seeing the second one more often than the first. I don't know if it was just because it was, we just had a newer copy of it, or I just liked the the comedy in it differently, or it could just be the slime element of it, just like was something cool and different because I was of the Nickelodeon era and ooze, slime, gack.
Right. Oh man,
That was really funny.
there was definitely a slime time, if you will, in the late 80s and early 90s where slime was the thing, man. You know,
the Nickelodeon days, where you can't do that on television.
Oh, yeah.
That and just having a remote control Statue of Liberty with the Nintendo Super Controller was just the coolest idea.
Yeah.
I often say that Ghostbusters 2, don't yell at me, anybody. I always say it's the better of the two. The 84 is always the classic. It's always the great, but Ghostbusters 2 just had so much love and so many little intricacies that I think really set it apart. So
don't worry. We here on Why We Bust agree with you.
I remember. I know. I got much love from Bob about that. So
again, revisiting it as an adult, the scares in they say they market it more towards children or like dumb down the swearing, the smoking, things like that, more family friendly. There are some legit great scares in that, like some really fine stuff.
Just that whiz. Oh god, that's just...
the heads on the pikes in the subway tunnel.
That got me as a kid too. That's
thing in the when they get Vigo back in the painting. I didn't know what that effect was, but it scared the crap out of me.
I know, right? All right, so we know when you guys saw the movies. Now, real Ghostbusters. Now, did you get into Extreme Ghostbusters at all? Because we all everybody, if you're in the fandom, usually you love real Ghostbusters. But did you happen to get into Extreme Ghostbusters at all?
Again, we've got a bit of an age gap, and I stumbled onto Extreme Ghostbusters, and I was excited about it. And again, a product of like that 90s era of there weren't so much characters as we made characters tropes. I just thought that was a really great cast of tropes in that show. The way that they made all the characters, like we had the character with disability, but he was still handy capable. We had, all of these, the goth chick, or like, all of these like different cool intellectual characters, and like the passing of the torch. I thought Extreme Ghostbusters was very well done and very cool. But again, because I liked it, and Paul was the older brother, he's genetically engineered to despise everything that I enjoy.
Oh, sure. Listening to rock alternative music, and
being angsty.
Yes, I just recently watched it for the first time last year. It's like, man, it's actually pretty good. So.
Yeah, I really feel that it should get more love. It is. I watched it all the way through too, and I watched it as an adult, and I think I had a greater appreciation for it because like you said, in the late 90s, I was in my I was born 81, so you can do the math. But I was not watching Ghostbuster cartoons, so yeah, so to actually be of the age to watch that and grow up, you got the right stuff there, Ian. Now, what between
the time slot for that? They switched the channels around. It was hard to find.
Yeah. There was a lot of jumping from what I understood. Now today, what would be your favorite series? Real Ghostbusters or Extreme Ghostbusters?
I could send you both of. I consider both of them just a continuation of the same property. It's just like a passive torch. It's like like people would say about the Star Wars movies. It's like you like the original series, you like the sequel series. It's all Star Wars. If you like Star Wars, I like Ghostbusters.
Sure. No, I get you. Now, you guys actually have something special, and this was when I was just starting to join. I happened to see a picture of you both. Now, do you have some real Ghostbusters inspired uniforms?
I do have an Egon uniform, but it doesn't have any pockets, and two, it's a little small. And I can't find any big like the newer ones are way too much.
And I kind of modeled my costume is like in between the Ghostbusters 2 dark navy black suit and a more extreme Ghostbusters, kind of like more belts, more pads, more, just extreme. and Paul had found me for my mod pack the nozzle piece for their
the mod wand.
The mod wand. The nozzle for their modification. The extreme Ghostbusters headpiece. It just makes the whole thing look that much more.
It's his, unique to him. And then, right. then he goes and gets the HasLab
back. It's like adopting cats. If you get one, well, may as well get another. And another one. And another one. And another one.
Yeah. Yeah, some of us have a proton pack problem, and that's okay. I
parted ways with my real Ghostbuster pack to a good friend of ours, and they just love it. I mean, they're just it's like a kid just opened the Super Nintendo on Christmas Eve. He's just like, oh my! He just wears it everywhere now, and I love that. It's like you share something like that with somebody, and see that joy.
Nope, absolutely. So, we'll go brother by brother. Paul, what was your favorite piece of Ghostbusters toys or memorabilia from when you were a kid?
Well, the pack is always a good one, but the trap was more fun. But that was his. You want to play with the trap, you got to play with Paul Ian.
They keep talking about how they can't make new electronic packs that work the same way. The old toy pack, it was like literally an air pressure thing. You push it and the trap would open. It was literally nothing but air, and it was a perfect little kid's toy that did the thing it did in the movie.
Right on. So Ian, would you say that was your favorite too? Was the trap?
That and the PKE meter, just because they were more interactive. That the antennas of the PKE meter span and the trap opened, so like you felt like you were doing something with them. Because the pack was cool and it was heavy and you felt like a piece of equipment. But it just made the noise. It didn't beep. It didn't have any moving parts.
That was the Paul. Can you not do that around here now? Noise.
Then again, the PKE meter did have a really loud click in the knob.
And the projector one made a really bad noise too.
Does it really? Oh, I'll have to look.
Projector one. Oh yeah, it's like or something. I forget what it was. Like,
that's great. See, I don't even need the sound effects, Paul. You got them. We're doing great. Right. Now, growing up, did Ghostbusters inspire your imagination or your creativity? I remember as a kid, like I'd be drawing the firehouse, or I'd be trying to draw Ecto 1. And I did a lot of grabbing my PKE and my pack and running around the house, and me and Norm got a good laugh. We both apparently chased our cats with the trap. Did you guys do any of that?
I did that with our cat once too.
So it's a common theme. All right.
That cat didn't put up with anything though.
I think I remember like in art class trying to come up with some like cool monsters or creatures or like things that eyes with tentacles on them, or like different kinds of crazy monsters that could be busted or things like that. So yeah, just that kind of imagination of creature design was always really cool to me. And then later on, I see people who got into cosplay. I didn't know what it was called at the time, cosplay, but then I thought, well, it can't be that hard to build a proton pack, and I started looking into it. It's like, oh yeah, actually, it can be that hard. Then I have to appreciate and respect the people who make their own costumes and make their own props, and it's a very fascinating culture of people who do that, who are able to not only in our line, but in people who make like functioning, flappable wings out of. To do.
Oh yeah, that one costumes. Yeah, that one that we were just at. So someone dressed up as Baxter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he had wings that came out.
Oh wow, that's
the fly character from that.
Yeah, was like Baxter Stockman.
Big old head, and it's like wow, they won too.
That is amazing. You gotta love when people go all in on something. That's definitely in what we do, because we put a lot of effort and time into seeing somebody that takes it to that next level is always awesome. That's why I love doing Fan Expo and stuff like that. It's
so rewarding. The rewards from that are so many rewards.
Absolutely. All right. So we've covered a little bit, and the last thing we're going to take away from this, what is your favorite movie, 84 or Ghostbusters 2? Paul first.
I'm gonna have to go with 84. I know more of the word lines for that.
Ian?
No, I'm still going to say 84 as well. It's just because it's not a perfect movie. It's as close as one can get, but the story, the pacing of it is just kind of perfect. It's a very big, high concept thing when you think about it, but it's made very tight and organized. It's like just the way the structure is set up.
It's got a little bit of everything. A little comedy, horror.
It's very
sci-fi.
Because you've got great comedians doing it. It feels very loose and funny, but again, the structure is there where nothing falls apart. It's just well constructed.
Yep, I believe often rated as the best comedy of all time. Still, the timing is always it's the progression of the movie. It's perfect cinema, if you ask me.
Yeah, Airplanes the funny one.
So we'll take a little dive past the early years, and we'll go into the mid years. So, did Ghostbusters leave you when you guys became, like teenagers and then into early adulthood?
Well, for me, you turn into a teenager, you do teenage, you kind of, with the movies on, I'll watch it, but like my toys, they got lost or broken and finally got rid of. It's, but once I started, actually had a job, a job that I could buy things. It's like, oh, I always wanted one of those, and I always wanted one of those. And and then that one day I got the spirit packs when they first came out. I was like, oh, okay, well, then I got to keep going from there.
Yeah, the spirit pack is one of those things. Once you buy it, you start to get that itch. Like, all right, this is cool and all, but yeah, then next thing you know,
then you get a 3D printer, and then you get 2 more, and then you just don't stop printing.
Yep. Absolutely, and we'll get into a little bit of that 3D printing here in a little bit because I'm definitely curious. So Ian, same for you. It kind of just it was there in kind of the background. If it was on, you wouldn't turn it off.
Exactly. It's one of those movies. If you were scrolling through cable, or if you're going when you pop it on, or if it's like halfway through it, it's like, well, I had things to do, but this is happening now. or you go to a shop, or you go to the mall, and like there's a kiosk that's got stickers or patches. You walk at a Hot Topic, and you see the emblem up there. You see stuff, or the Ghostbusters scroll on things and T-shirts. It's like, oh yeah, it just always catches your eyes. It's always the thing that pops into your head. It's like, that. And so yeah, it just, and again, because I was probably like the extreme version, so it stayed with me longer in my teen years, I guess. But and when they started making content for it, or when the nostalgia kicks came back into it, I was just always there. It was just a thing that was crept in the back of my head whenever it popped up.
Absolutely,
there.
it just popped in there. Yeah, I had very similar experiences where you hit that late teen, early 20, and it's like Ghostbusters is there, it's cool and all. Now, what kind of triggered you guys to get back into Ghostbusters?
I mean, when the video game came out, that it's like, ooh, that's probably one of the best video games I've ever played. But then I got the spirit pack, and it's like, well, I only get to wear this thing one time a year. Hey, I heard there's these guys and gals out there that do it for charity. He's like, well, let's do a little search, and you guys messaged me back. It's like, hey.
and the rabbit hole begins.
Oh boy. And hey, you want to come with me and do this? And he's like, no.
I do remember when the PlayStation 2, 3.
It was the video game is the 3.
Yeah, when the PS3 video game had come out, and it was the original cast, and it was written by the original members, like watching other people play it, watching the playthroughs, and just thinking that, okay, this is as close as it's going to get to a proper sequel to it, and loving that, and that's cool, that's great. But again, it's just something that's always in the back of my head. And I was working in Crown Point at a comic book donut shop. One night after work, I went over to a local watering hole, Crown Brewery, and I'm on the patio having some, talking with some people, having a good time. And literally out in the distance, we see 4 guys in jumpsuits and homemade proton packs just walk in like it's the most natural thing in the world. Bob Anderson was actually part of this group.
That sounds about right. Yeah,
tracks.
And we all were like, do we want to ask what's going on? Or do we want to, let's not talk about it. Let's just enjoy the moment.
Well, like you said, it's like you see guys at Ghostbusters on the street, it's like, oh, what's going on?
You see a bunch of people dressed up in, like Klingons or Jedis. You think there's a convention in town. you see a bunch of guys dressed up as Ghostbusters. What's happening?
It's another one of those random Bob moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
see a wild Bob.
But Bob, when Paul had talked about doing the organization, I just thought, well, it sounded like a really cool thing, and I saw his enthusiasm about it. I was nervous, or we're kind of dubious about starting it, but he took me to the St. Patrick's Day parade one year.
That was our first year,
and I just instantly fell in love with it. Just running down the street, high-fiving kids, meeting the people, meeting the crew.
And it's like meeting all you guys. It's like we found our brethren. Like
we're getting into the next line of questioning here. So, what led you guys to join Windy City Ghostbusters? And did you both join at the same time?
Technically, yes.
Paula joined first.
Well, I mean, you came with the event, and we just counted you. But
Paul had been literally trying to get me to come along with him for a while, and at the time, I was trying to adult. I was on my own. I was trying to get my life sorted out, save money, get myself together, do grown-up things. It's I'm not going to spend X amount of money on a bunch of toys and costumes, but at the same time, I want to do that, but you're just told you're not supposed to.
Well, yeah.
but this just felt like something different, and spending too much money on a lightsaber is a dumb thing to do. This I can kind of feel something about getting away with.
I got you.
We used to be in Boy Scouts too, so it's
this camaraderie.
There's a camaraderie with everybody, all the friends, and we used to do charity work with the Scouts as well. So it's like we're no strangers to this kind of work.
And it's not just the parade thing; it's a setting up for the events, meeting everyone coming together, using skill sets we've got, setting up the big inflatables, doing the tables together, all of the builds we do. It just feels good to be a part of something.
Absolutely. I can definitely agree with that. So tell me a little bit about your first event. Paul, what was your first event like? What was going through your head? What did you feel?
That was a St. Patrick's Day parade, and we got there super early, and was it a Buster Biker was there, James, and hi, is this the place to be? And he immediately shake hands, like, how you doing? Immediately felt welcome. They just felt so welcome right off the bat. It's like, wow, okay. And then and then just walking around, just standing around and seeing everybody interact with everybody. Okay, those guys have been around for quite a while, so they have a very shorthand talk, or that like, okay, you guys are kind of new, and it's like, oh yeah, everyone was just nice.
Absolutely, I can definitely agree with that.
We all speak nerd. We finish each other's movie quotes.
Right, exactly. Ian, what about you for your first event?
Again, Paul took me along for the St. Patrick's Day parade, and like I said, I had no idea what to expect. I hadn't been in a parade since we were in the Boy Scouts, and then you're part of a color guard. You're supposed to be upright and stand at attention and be very stoic and cool and reserved, because you don't want to be running around like a bunch of little kids. You got to act respectable. Here are a bunch of grown ass men who can act like little kids.
Absolutely. It kind of gives us that outlet to kind of just nerd out and be ourselves, right? That's I think one of the fun things is, when I see you guys at the events, it's smiles, it's you're having a blast, and that's what matters at the end of the day, right?
Ending either. It's like, we're Ghostbusters.
Yep.
It was my first day there. I had never been to an event before, and I think I got to a point where I was running up and down the aisle, high-fiving kids so far, so fast. I think I got almost into the next group ahead of us. I had outran the rest of the group. I had to file. But
it's easy to do.
I kind of got overexcited.
And then
that's I think one of the fun things too, is they get kind of wrapped up in the moment. If I'm on the bullhorn or if I'm high-fiving people, it's that electric energy that you feel in the crowd, right?
Oh yeah,
it's like these people are here for us. It's
they light up. It's like you're just walking to the spot where you need to hurry up and wait. It's like you're just walking. Everyone wants to stop you. Hey, photo. Hey, who are you gonna call? Hey, it's just okay.
And it's the variety of people that you get, because for such an old franchise, it's like we've gotten family members who have asked us. It's like, do little kids still get Ghostbusters? And we get little kids coming up to us, teenagers, college kids, adults who grew up with the picture. All of them have the same level of enthusiasm about it, where it's they want pictures, they want high fives, they want they get it, they understand it.
It's sometimes it's three to four generations that you get coming up to you. Sometimes it's amazing,
Great the parents were like, "Come on, go take a picture with the Ghostbuster," and we're like, "Come on, we know you get over here too. Well, you want the picture more than and the kids are like, what are we doing?"
Right. The kids may not have been introduced to it yet, but I'll tell you what, grandma, grandpa, dad, mom, they all know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I say all ages too. Yeah, all ages.
Well, and even if they don't know what Ghostbusters are per se, the concept of it, a kid can get their head around, because
right.
Because again, the uniforms, the equipment all look very professional. So if someone points to someone and says that's a Ghostbuster, a kid can think, put two and two together, because to kids things go bump in the night, and that's scary. That's a person who takes care of that.
They need exterminators for that.
Absolutely. All right. So what is one interaction that you guys have had or an event that really sticks out in your mind? Like something that was, you stood there and went, this is really cool, or something you'd want to experience again?
There's so many.
We've had a lot of really great experiences.
Well, give me a couple.
The last fan con when we got to meet Pinky and Rob Carlson and Maurice Marsh. Pinky in the brain, and then that video that Renee's going narf after we're really ready to believe you, and I'm cracking up.
But no, not only.
But not just that. It's afterwards. Maurice came to our booth and gave us a pep talk, and everyone was just like, "Wow!" And then we got a group photo, and it's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, going to the conventions and meeting people that we admire, like Adam Savage from the MythBusters, or actors we grew up, or like voice actors from cartoons. Like I said, meeting the voice of Egon was very cool. But it's more the interactions we have with people, or like the kind of different events that we get to go to are really cool. There was that Halloween event we went to that the arts fairs, and they had lots of people talking about the ghost stories all around the cities. I remember that. And again, just fan interactions, and we in Old Town, we were getting ready for the premiere of Frozen Empire, the last film, and we were just walking around Old Town to businesses, around the parks, putting up flyers, hanging out cars.
Have you seen this dog? Pull a tab with the Ghostbuster with our Windy City number on it.
And we were just walking around schoolyards or around the public parks, around the streets, and we're getting kids like stopping their basketball games to run up. Are you the Ghostbusters?
Well, yes, we are.
Or we'll be waiting to go to a convention. We'll stop for lunch or for breakfast in uniform, and we'll sit up. We'll come up to a lunch counter, and we'll be there for about 5-15 minutes before somebody comes up to us. Why are you dressed like Ghostbusters? Because we are the Ghostbusters.
Absolutely. And that's when people come up to me and they say, "Oh, that's a nice costume. This is a uniform." They may look at you like you're slightly crazy, but I mean, you guys get it. This is our uniform. This is what we do.
It helps when you like magic trick out one of the business cards.
Hey, magic tricks always help. So we'll talk a little bit about your gear. Now, what's your favorite piece of gear, or tell us a little bit about some of the gear that you guys like to carry?
You go first. I'm so big.
Well,
Paul's like, I
got so much.
Well, when Paul got me hooked on, I got hooked really hard. So I started just buying up everything as fast as I could. I was doing pretty well at work, so this was an acceptable. A lot of money was allowed to spend. So I started with the 80% Spirit Pack, which I had it sent to the office because I didn't want it sent to
our parents' house.
So I had it sent to work and which means I had to immediately take it out of the box and show everybody at the office. It's like, I'm an adult. This is what I spend my money on. And my bosses and everyone were having a really fun kick out of that. And Paul had modified it with some modifications to the cyclotron, made things, he 3D printed some shells to make it a little bit more curved. He made me a better wand out of a toy version. He got me the extreme mod for it. And I had taken to making slime, my own personal slime decals. I was taking, I wanted something that would stick and reflect light very well. So I was using different shades of nail polish and going in coats after coats after coats to create three-dimensional light reflecting slime details in green. And it looks very much like multiple coats of clear coat from leftover from like car detail shops.
Oh, cool.
Really high sheen and a really great reflection of light. A really good 3D effect on the paint detail. I worked really hard on that. And then I won a full-size Hasbro pack. And
if everybody knows me, I have a very small car. Or I had a well, the other half drives that now, but I already had my gear in there. So and the box for that pack is huge.
Yeah, it's not small.
No, it's not.
That was funny. You won the pack? Oh God, he won the pack.
But no, I still very much really love my 80% Spirit pack. I do bust that out every once in a while. And it's a lot better for the parades. It's a lot lighter. I'm going to put them both into rotation. And
Smart. And I've always said that the 80% is the parade pack, and anything full size is you're gonna go to a library or do an event where you're in the same place for a while.
We just put too much work into that pack to me to just like hang it up. So the print job he did on it, and the mods he did, and the amount of paint work and detailing I've done onto it, it means a lot to me.
But it needs a little loving too. It needs a little working.
I feel like a proton pack is never officially done once you've started. So
because then the movie comes out and they're like, oh, they did that to it now. You gotta do that.
Absolutely. So Paul, let's take a little dive into some of your favorite gear you've got.
Well, my HasLab pack is, if you see me at events, I got that little scrolling marquee thing, that the lights, and then I got the fan, the hollow fan with playing the videos on it, and people love that. And I got the Stay Alive mod on that, so it always stays running. But one of my favorite ones is actually the PKE meter from the real Ghostbusters. The one you see me have. It's actually got the antennas that come out and do that. I mean, you gotta do it by hand, but that's like one of my favorite. Always wanted that version of the PKE meter.
Nice. Now, do you have anything on your wish list? Is there any piece of gear that you're thinking in the back of your mind you want, or you want to print, or anything like that?
Paul's been constructing a slime blower for quite some time.
2 years now.
But I do love. I might do this to my 80% pack. He has modified one of his wands to be the video game modification that has the blower on it. And I think I might want to convert my 80% pack to the full video game mod. It would look good with all of the slime decal.
Give you the one I have 80%.
So does that mean you'll be making another one, Paul?
Well, my HasLab pack is I have it so I can turn it into the video game or take it out of the video game mode. Because I usually do the video game wand at parades because it's gotta be showy. But yeah, for cons, I usually just keep it 84 stocks.
I'm attempting to try and modify a bubble blower to be something that akin to a slime blower. To use as like parades, like when we do the dark, just something either silly string from like a Spider-Man web shooter that shoots straight, or a bubble thrower that can like foam or something that looks like something's coming out of the wand while we're doing parades.
Absolutely. I definitely think that could be a very fun addition to the equipment bay.
Make it interactive. Anything interactive is always fun.
You know what? Being interactive with crowds, I think, is one of my favorite of many things. And I know when I see you guys just light up when you're with people, it it brings a smile to my face. I know how passionate you guys are about this. So
my favorite prop that someone else has though is what's his name? It has the toaster, the dancing toaster.
Oh yeah,
I love playing with that. The kids love when they walk by. Just go.
The dancing toaster. See, now there you go. There's something on your wish list. So now I know you guys have done a lot of events together. What do you guys have a favorite memory of doing an event together as brothers? Like a favorite moment?
Oh, maybe when we tried to meet Dan Aykroyd at one time, and maybe went to our side of the bar after we got our stuff, and then he shook your hand.
Meeting Dan Aykroyd at Wonderverse was very cool. It was just, our memories of being at Wonderverse.
The Aykroyd event.
It could have been better organized. But
I talked to other people, and they're like, "Oh yeah."
But no, we get a real, just genuine buzz after doing these things. And again, fan expos are always cool. Meet these celebrities together. That sometimes one of us or the other will get a little starstruck when we meet certain people, and it's nice to have somebody as an anchor. Because when I know I was a little flabbergasted when we met Adam Savage, and having Paul there to discuss his builds and 3D printing with him, that helped me relax and be able to not freak out.
Yeah,
he's meeting someone from Star Trek.
So, well, we'll go a little past Ghostbusters, because I know when we're in this realm of Ghostbusters, that's not all that we're always about. So I know what's some of your other favorite fandoms.
I'm very big into Star Trek as well. I mean, I like Star Wars too. This guy right here. I don't know if you people know what that is.
Oh, I do. I watched a lot of that with my mother growing up.
Oh.
Oh yeah. The classics. MST 3K is. Yeah. If you haven't watched it, you're missing out, folks.
That's for another podcast.
Totally other. So you got Star Trek, little Star Wars. Ian, what about you?
Well, growing up together, we just had a lot of the same tapes and movies growing up. So I'm a student of 80s and early 90s sci-fi, fantasy genre fiction, but I most fandom-wise identify as Brown Coat, Firefly for the non-initiated. Oh, I also have become a big fan of Supernatural. Still chipping my way through that. Like I said, liking older children from the day. A friend of mine just had kids, and for their shower, I bought them a copy of Neverending Story for their little ones. And he unwraps it. It's like, oh, this is the one with David Bowie, right? Close, buddy, close. but then after the party was over, I was like, no, I haven't seen that movie for years. So I queued it up on my TV, and I realized, oh God, I'm going to scar this poor kid for life.
Well, that's what you do.
That's a lot of the fun of being an adult is sharing things with the younger generation.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing too. Ghostbusters is really not a kids movie, but you see all these kids. You go to these birthdays. She's like, they're like 7 years old. Like, I love it. Like, wow, okay. You're be watching that.
Absolutely. I mean, Ghostbusters is a family-friendly movie. It really is. Even and as a kid, a lot of those jokes went right over my head, as I'm sure they did all of ours. And when you get older, it all makes a little bit more sense, doesn't it?
It is a passing of the torch type of movie. It
really is.
And your kids grow up watching it,
No, it absolutely is. So, let's see here. We've gone over your favorite pieces of gear. Do you guys have any events that are coming up that you're very excited about doing?
Got the
South Chicago St. Patrick's Day Parade.
That one and St. Charles.
Southside Irish and St. Charles. Absolutely.
We like the St. Charles ones because they put the DeLoreans and time machines in front of us.
and the St. Charles Parade is just a really cool event. They really like us there. I like the way the parade is organized. The people who do the announcements for them, they really do their research on what each person is.
The crowds are nice.
The crowd is very nice. Some parades we go to, it's just like, they get some radio DJ to come down to, hey, look, it's this marching band.
We're gonna call.
But
Wake up.
but as far as like events that we're really looking forward to, we would really want to put our hat in to get to an event at La Rabida at the Children's Hospital. We've been in the organization for a while yet, and
it's always it's just the timing.
So
usually on a Wednesday and
timing, right?
Yeah, because we work on Wednesdays.
Absolutely. So those are the events you guys are kind of looking forward to coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Always like that, the parades. I like the parades, because you really get to see the energy of the crowds and all that. The Aurora Pride one that we do, the Thanksgiving one. That's Chicago.
Arts in the Dark was a really wonderful time.
You,
that was an outstanding fun.
That's a nice fun one. Being downtown Chicago, that's always.
To drag him into the city is a bit of an effort. So if he wants to do that parade, it's a big deal.
Yes.
No, I totally get it.
Downtown driving.
Yeah.
No one is.
No. So what would you say, today compared to when you were kids? What does Ghostbusters mean to you today versus when you were a kid?
Deep questions. When you're a kid, it's just like fun to play with the toys and all that. But it's like now we got a purpose. Helping raise money. It's like we get to dress up and be nerdy and all that. But it's like, hey, we're doing it for a good thing. I really like that idea. But it's like, hey, you wear this heavy pack on. You're doing events that day after. Especially the St. Patrick's one, you do 2 events in one weekend. And it's like, oh my god, my back, my shoulders. But it's like it's so worth it because the money we raise, the people we make smile for the day. You make that one person smile. That makes it all worth it, I think.
Well, and you hit the nail on the head there. It's even having a bad day or a frustrating day, and you throw on your gear and you don't really. You're like, all right, I'm going to do it. And then you get to the event and you see one person smile, that can make your whole day.
You're having a bad day and it's like, I don't know if I want to go to this event. It's like, you drag your butt over there and you put everything on, and as soon as you walk in, it's like, oh, like that's why. And then it ends and you get home. It's like, I really needed that.
Right on.
Yeah, when you're a kid, it's just you think of it as it's like, oh, it's monsters and lasers. But doing it now as an adult, like. It's that wonderful feeling of like what Paul was talking about, but also there's a kind of a responsibility thing about it. I feel almost like being a mall Santa or somebody who those guys who like when Johnny Depp goes to visit, dresses Captain Jack and goes to visit kids in hospital or schools. It's something that gives people something to smile about. And it makes you want to be better at doing that thing. So you stand up straight, smile more, like get your energy up, make yourself proper and presentable.
Makes you feel younger too. You keeping a little bit of that youth, that childness in you.
Absolutely. Now, do you guys have a favorite off-duty moment, but in gear? Like, say you were going to a gas station, or like something that sticks out in your mind.
We're sitting down for breakfast after the day 2 of the con. We're just sitting there eating breakfast, and people are just like, "Why are you dressed like that?" Why not?
After the Northwest Indiana Comic Con, we popped into again the same place where I had saw Bob all those years ago. We walked into that brewery, and everyone just kept staring at us in uniform. That was quite fun. But I've got the equipment I wear most Halloweens, and when people see it, they unprovoked, they start doing lines to me. It's like I don't know. I'll get people in a a Bluey or a Zorro mask, asking me if I'm some kind of cosmonaut.
Oh yeah, that after St. Patrick's Day, we walk by the DeLoreans and they're like, "Can I sit in it?" Like, yeah, you can sit in it. Like, oh! Can I do the door?
Paul sitting in a DeLorean dressed as a Ghostbuster. I was there taking pictures of both events. I can tell you he did not smile that big at his own wedding.
Well, I don't know if I've ever seen you smile that much.
Don't let him hear it.
No. Over in an inanimate object. How's that?
That was a good off-duty game.
I don't know if that counts because we were still technically with the group, but I think we were far.
Yeah, that's all right. I do remember your smile that day, Paul, and how.
Yeah, that was your friend, wasn't it?
Yep.
That
yep,
friend. Yeah.
I will use the word giddy. You were giddy, Paul.
Well,
but rightfully so. And that's what I think is one of the great things about, enjoying fandoms or enjoying, pop culture things. When you see that one thing that really hits you, watching somebody else go through it is absolutely amazing.
If I could go dress up as Doc and drive around in a DeLorean, I do that more than Ghostbusters, but I can't afford a DeLorean, so I gotta do the Ghostbusters instead.
Well, I'll tell you what, if at any point in time he lets me borrow it, I will let you know.
We'll hold you to that.
Hey, you know what? We'll just say you never know.
Leave me alone with it for more than 5 minutes. You might not see it.
You going back Mexico?
You never know. And as a side note, the next time you see it, it will have the Dr. Emmett Brown bread van that it can drive into. Yeah. So yeah, anxiously waiting on seeing that. And I'm sure if you see that, Paul, it'll be giddy times 2. All right. So we've gone through, like I said, the little deep dive into the Duncan brothers here to see, how it all evolved, how we had got to this point. So now comes the question of why we bust. So let me get a little take from each of you. Why do you throw on the proton pack? Why do you throw on the flight suit? Why'd you go through all of the effort to put the patches on and to gear up? Is it what makes that tick, and why do you guys bust?
It's fun. And you get raise money for the kids, but like I say, you get to be like a kid and almost an adult kid, and make other people, like I said, make other people smile. And it's just fun. I enjoy it.
Like I said, the camaraderie and the arts and crafts of it, and the building uniforms, it reminds us of our days in scout camp. Doing events and helping people out, children, and making the kids smile, and meeting these people who are that excited about us. And unlike a lot of the things we obsess over, like I said, Firefly or Supernatural or Star Trek or Star Wars, this has a real purpose to it. We explained to our family that we were raising money for Laura Beta. And that's when we found out that we had family that went through that hospital years ago when everyone lived back on the south side of Chicago. So the fact that something that could seem as silly and frivolous as putting on a costume and buying a bunch of toys can actually, have a link to our family and to help other families. That something about that makes me feel really good.
Absolutely. I will agree with you guys. Like I said, you have that bad day. You don't want to go to an event, but I'll tell you, as soon as you show up and you get going, it makes it all worth it. So what would you guys say to somebody that wants to join the Windy City Ghostbusters?
Oh, you hate money?
It's
aside from that,
welcome to the rabbit hole. It's. I mean, people. People like, why do you do that? Like, because it's fun. And could I do that? Sure, sign up.
That's what I think is good about this organization. It is, to some extent, approachable, because once you meet Star Wars fans or Star Trek fans, and everything's got to be specific. You have to have this cloak and this phaser and this thing and this prop to be that character, or someone's going to do the actually here everybody's just having fun, and
you don't have to take yourself so seriously.
The guy who's got who bought the aftermarket $15 pack and the $200 wand, he stands right next to the guy who built his own out of cardboard and pot pans, and he'll say, "Hey, what kind of rubber paint do you use? Because I like the finish you have on yours better than I like what I did to mine." We don't have that kind of malice that a lot of other fandoms have.
And you get to participate as much as you. I mean, I don't want to go this, or I don't want to spend that much money on it, or I'll dress the way I like, or it's very customizable, and you get to participate as much as you want. Sometimes,
I've got friends from work who've asked if they can come to these parades, and I say, "Hey, you get the flight suit and the patches. You can borrow one of my packs, see if you like it." And you can just. It's the entry level is not too hard to get into, and then if you want to, decide that you don't like money,
or say, "Hey, do you want to make some friends?" That's always a good thing too.
Right, and I'll agree with you guys. I think one of the nice things about us is you can keep it as basic as you want to, or you can really go to the extreme. And we don't look down on you. We love everything, and that's what being all inclusive is all about with us.
The first event in the there was at the point where me and Ian looked at each other going, "Yeah, we like this. Yeah, we like this. We should do this more often."
Yep.
And
we
playing with each other.
Oh, I'm a fellow rabbit hole enthusiast here. So
I think it's got a couple things over there. No. I mean, I got my starships over there. I subdued this.
Yep. No, I totally get it. So we've gone through the deep dive with the Duncan brothers here. We've gone from childhood, finding out what made that tick, going through a little bit of our teenage years and now our adult years and what we do, and we found out why they bust. So that brings us to the end of our episode today. I really want to say thank you to the Duncan brothers for coming on here today and sharing their life experiences with Ghostbusters and beyond. It's definitely been a pleasure
for putting up with us.
Been a pleasure to do this with you guys. James, thank you for keeping us together here online and on time. And
yeah, you're welcome.
For Why We Bust, my name is Matt Goldenboat.
I'm Paul.
That's a wrap, folks. Take care.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Good.
Say good night, Ian.
Night, Ian.